Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Positive Podcast. The name of the show changes every single week. We're live on TikTok, so make sure, usually on a Wednesday, but who the hell knows, just go and follow everybody on TikTok. So go to Gunnars R Us, go to the Brothers TBA, go to Simon Miller 316, maybe Simon J Miller. My TikTok seems to change every day for no reason. But you will get notifications. And look, the Scottish Raccoon, which is a very interesting name, has already started off perfectly because he says, why are you not showing off your belt today? Well, Scottish Raccoon.
Here we go.
I am going to show off my belt.
There you go.
Because it's right there. People have already messaged me going, Simon, you're such a nerd, you're such a mark. This is not news. This is not news. Look at my life. But yeah,
Look at that, Simon.
That's beautiful.
You're essentially the Bret Hart of progress. Everyone clip that.
I mean, honky tonk man, right? I think we agreed. Honky tonk man. That's right.
That's a nice looking chair.
Proteus. It is a nice. It's cost a lot of money. I was told how much this belt is worth, which is why we're keeping it in very, very good condition. But no, thank you to everyone that did reach out. It's been an overwhelming few days to the point I don't think I've actually caught up with it all yet, which is good. That's a good thing because as we talked about, keep the magic alive. Always keep the magic alive. Never forget why we did this to begin with. But Scott and Joey, you have your own success, right? Tell me you have yours with you as well. Yes. Yes.
Well, I mean, we don't walk around everywhere with it, but I mean, we did win some championships this weekend as well.
On the same day.
Yes.
How cool is that?
Same day.
We are the nerdiest, markiest wrestling podcast there is. No one is nerdier and more geeky than us, but I love it. That's right. Tag team champions, Proteus champion, which makes us the best podcast. I said this on Ups and Downs, and I regretted it because I said it facetiously, tongue-in-cheek, sarcastically. I forget that doesn't exist on the internet.
Yeah.
So I said I am now the premier wrestling reviewer because you may talk about it, but I do it.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, Miller taking shots. I was like, I didn't mean it. It wasn't. Listen, there's still an element of truth to it. It's just a teeny,
I was going to say, you don't mean it, but it's certainly true.
But it's certainly true. I have more perspective than you. That's just a fact. Yeah. That is just a fact.
You have the literal proof, the leather and gold.
The leather and gold.
It carries the weight,
That's
Simon.
right.
Can you imagine if Wade Keller turned around with the IC Championship? It's just not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine if Dave Meltzer won the Rev Pro title? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't happen. But Simon J. Miller on TikTok, he will do it.
That's right. And everyone, we've all won gold today. So this is the greatest podcast ever. That's what I'm saying. There's no two ways about it. But no, it's been pretty cool. And again, the fact that we were messaging on that day and you were winning belts and I was winning belts, that's just what wrestling is all about. And I get it. Like somebody already messaged me going, oh, progress in the mud now with the YouTuber. But we've talked about that 1,000 times. So in fact, if you are a wrestler and you are listening and you're an electrician or a vet or a lawyer or a teacher, I'm sorry you can't be a wrestler. So please quit that wrestling and stick to your job, okay?
Exactly.
That's what we've learned from these guys. WWF in the mid-90s would have been screwed. Everybody had a secondary job.
Honestly.
We had a baseball player and a dumpster man.
Dentist.
And a dentist, a repossessive guy. I mean, The Undertaker was literally dead. So, I'd be more worried about that. He doesn't even have a pulse. But talking about pay-per-views, actually, do you know what? The Crown Jewel's taken a step up, to be honest. There was a time when I thought it feels a bit dead. It feels a bit like, oh, we got to get through it. And then all of a sudden they've kind of... they're doing the Bloodline match, which I'm genuinely... That's a spoiler, by the way. People got mad at me. But I'm sorry. They put it out. How is that a spoiler? WWE put the graphic on social media. I got mad at this guy. I can't believe you spoiled the Bloodline match. WWE put the graphic on the internet. Yeah. What do you want me to do? Listen, it is too early. That's not my fault, though. That's what they chose to do. But we are going to do Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso versus a formulation of the Bloodline. Yeah. I would imagine that Jacob Fatu wouldn't be in it because I think there's more worth it in keeping him out. But that match being on there alone, and the Seth Rollins-Bronson Reed match, which I actually think is going to have more gravitas than the rest, I actually think as a card... Yeah, I'm a bit worried about the Cody Gunther stuff. Not going to lie, but we'll get into it. We'll run it down. But what's your kind of impression after the TV that we've got over the weekend and stuff? Are you more into it? You less into it? Where are we at?
I'm definitely more into it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm mostly excited about the Bronson Reed Seth Rollins situation because that TV has been gold. Everything they've been doing with Bronson Reed to this point, as I think you described it as Peter Griffin versus the Chicken.
Yeah, Simon said it originally.
Was it you that said it originally?
I think so.
Apparently, I've totally forgotten it, but apparently I did.
It stuck with me when you said it.
That is ideal. Like everything they've been doing on TV, where I think we said it last night watching Raw. I hope that it is like a Falls Count Anywhere street fight in Riyadh sort of situation where they can use the arena a little bit.
I'm surprised they're not making it into a tourism match. And just, they show you the sights and the scenes of Riyadh.
Look where they're fighting now.
That's what they should do. It's like what was the WrestleMania 9 match with Goldust and was it Roddy Piper where they were driving
the backlot
WrestleMania not 9
12.
But what was that 7-12? I was way off.
Yeah.
They could do that. Just put them on a vehicle in that trailer they were in on Raw. They could just drive through Saudi Arabia.
All around it. Look at the gorgeous scenery of Riyadh.
Yeah. They can do that. They can do that.
No, I'm definitely more excited.
Yeah, I think that match that whole feud has been great. I mean, we'll just start there. We'll just get right into it. We're going to go through the card because it actually, listen, we've got Survivor Series, we've got Saturday Night's Main Event, we've got the Netflix show, we've got the Royal Rumble. They can have a 5-match program. I mean, you don't need to go that long, but should you so wish, we do have a packed schedule over the next 2 months. So as far as I'm concerned, Bronson Reed should win this match. Absolutely, hands down. Like, absolutely should. I wouldn't mind. Given that WWE have gone to the crazy amount of 7 matches on the pay-per-view, we have increased by 2 for this pay-per-view. I do not mind Seth Rollins getting crushed. I don't mind. Like, I'm talking about 5 minutes, sub 5 minutes, because I think Seth Rollins is so established as a performer, it makes no difference to him. It's like when John Cena would lose, surprisingly. Who cares? It's John Cena. Like, Seth Rollins is going to find himself in an amazing position come WrestleMania, and no one's going to be going, oh, he's got ruined because of what happened in Saudi. Whereas Bronson Reed could get to WrestleMania and be in a much elevated position if he starts winning matches like this. It doesn't even matter if it goes Bronson, Seth, and Seth wins the other 2. If the one you give to Bronson Reed is him proper flattening Seth Rollins, I think we could get into 2025 with Bronson finally getting to where he probably should have been in the first place, really.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind this first one being a John Cena, Brock Lesnar SummerSlam match.
Yeah.
Where, Seth has a real good flurry and then all of a sudden Bronson gets top and just 10 tsunamis, the ref calls it off, something like that. And everyone goes, God, that was such a squash. But then we can kind of get to Seth getting his win back and, like you said, winning maybe the next 2. But no, I really do like it. And I really think it's so simple, but it's so effective. And it's that kind of old school kind of adage, isn't it? Like, to heat him up, they just had him do 10 tsunamis to Seth and send Seth away.
Yeah.
That did more for his career than 6 5-star matches or anything else. It was just jump on him 10 times. So stupid.
Jump on him. Yeah.
It's so stupid. But at the end of it, I went, God, he should be world champ. If Gunther wasn't here, he'd be the champ.
Yeah, it's so simple. So simple.
And you're just
so
like,
much fun.
God, simple's still good. So no, I love that. And I do like the idea of, Bronson smashing him in the first one.
Yeah, it has a surprise factor to it as well. Like, where people wouldn't be expecting Seth to necessarily lose to Bronson, let alone in a quick situation.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I think they should do it. They can take more risks now. They absolutely can. Especially if you're trying to grow your star power base, which you are. Yeah. Again, I would say there is a 99% certainty that it's Seth Rollins versus Punk at Mania, I would guess. I think they keep talking about it on commentary. So if you're doing that match, if anything, you can help that. You can have CM Punk make quips about it, and then Seth Rollins can get mad about it. You can add some personal beef in there. So I just saw a comment I thought we should read. Where was it? It's from Connor. Connor says, I feel like Bronson needs to win the feud, or we might have another Shinsuke Nakamura issue. I mean, damn. That's like, what a kick in the... Ironically, what a kick in the balls that is. I don't think so. I don't think he needs to win the feud. I think he needs to win the first match in a dominant fashion. Yeah. And then he can lose... Yeah, stiff match, and then what it doesn't.
Like what Drew
once
just
he wins, yeah, exactly. Once you destroy someone like Seth Rollins, you're fine. You got 6 months in you to totally screw it up. So we're all going for Bronson Reed then.
I'll go Bronson Reed. I think as well they're also forgetting that Shinsuke Nakamura didn't jump on anyone 10 times.
Yeah,
and that is the difference.
He just kicked AJ Styles in the balls a lot.
That's not strong.
Honestly. That was really bad, though.
It
was so bad. What really annoyed me about it was, I say this all the time, you cannot go heel and then lose your next match because you look like a dingus.
Yeah.
You changed your whole moral outlook and then you lost.
Yeah.
It's like, so you achieved nothing.
Yeah.
No, the whole point is it's meant to make you feel bad. Oh, no, that did work. He turned to the dark. It's like Darth Vader turned to the dark side, then you never get past the New Hope. We won. It's over. Oh, okay. That was pointless.
No, you're right.
So, Someone just said, Waterloo says, do you ever talk about politics on here? Dude, I don't talk about politics in general. I like having a peaceful life. I do not talk about politics.
I like that as well, because we're kayfabing everyone, because in real life, when Joe, Simon and myself are together, all we talk about is politics.
It's only for world politics.
But it's not even, it's only about American politics.
Just American.
And we have real strong opinions.
Also, there's even though everyone should be allowed, for some reason on the internet, there's nothing worse about people from another country talking about your country's politics. It's just frustrating. It's like, go away, leave me alone. Let's talk about the Crazy Women's tag match. Let me get this right. So it's Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair taking on Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, taking on Damage Control, taking on, who am I forgetting? Oh, Chelsea and Piper. There is no way we're having it. I mean, two worlds. You have so much madness here. You could crown another team. Yeah. You could do it without pitting Jade and Bianca. But it is so not the time to do it because there's no build, there's no heat, there's no momentum. You've just, again, you could make an argument that Chelsea and Piper shouldn't be in it, Damage Control shouldn't be in it, and the Metaphor shouldn't be in it. They've all lost at certain parts building up to this. So, and also, I think it's too soon because Jade and Bianca should lose it a couple of months, maybe January, and that should be the match at Mania. Mania 41 should be Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair, and we should set Jade Cargill up as the mega heel like she was in AEW, and we should have Bianca Belair as the super duper wonderful baby face, and then she needs to go for the title again. Jade can do that as well, but Bianca Belair needs to be back in the singles. She's too good. Yeah. Like sometimes I watch her and I'm like, this is not, I get why you're in a tag team and you're doing a good service for the company, really. But you're too good not to be in that. You need to be like a Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. You should be propping up the whole thing. I think people take Bianca Belair for granted. She's ridiculous. Yeah. Like sometimes I watch their tag team matches and I just try and focus on what she does. I'm like, this is especially because I don't think she grew up a wrestling fan, which makes it even more amazing because her instincts are spot on. Like she just knows what to do and when to do it. So I don't think you can take the belts off them here because WrestleMania is still 6 months away. That's too long. That's too long. I think by that point, people will be a bit like, ugh, just get it over and done with. Yeah. Unless you're going to do the culmination at WrestleMania. I don't want that. I'd like it to happen at the Royal Rumble. And then you have 3 months, 2.5 to sort of really build it. So, yeah, I can't see them not losing their titles.
Yeah, and Brandon123 on TikTok believes that Jade and Bianca will lose in this one. And if I remember correctly...
To who, though? Did he say to who? Who does he think is going to win?
He didn't say. He just kind of said they will lose.
Come on, Brandon. Come on, Brandon.
Who you got? But the last time they dropped these titles, they did drop them in a 3-way. And they didn't take the pin, I believe.
In Scotland. Yeah, that's right, in Scotland.
So it does scream a little bit, this is how we get the titles off of them. But
fair point.
The only way I could see them doing it is this is the losing of the titles. So let's say Chelsea and Viper, who I think probably deserve something. For some of the stuff that particularly Chelsea's been doing.
Yep.
But if they were to do this, and it's not a dissension type thing, maybe a very minimal amount, not as heavy as DIY's dissension was, but a slight bit of dissension, you could also have the rematch at Saturday night's main event where they kind of actually not split up, but there's an actual miscommunication. Then in the Rumble, you have the face-off where they do kind of go after each other, and that sets up Mania. So you could stretch it a little bit, but it does seem that like almost 2 months too early. But I don't know if they, we're talking about 5-match cards a lot of the time, 4-match cards even sometimes, that we could be looking at Saturday Night Main Event and Survivor Series. They're not on the card. So you almost need to do it now if you want to do it on a pay-per-view. Unless you want to, main event a SmackDown with them and... Julia and forgetting her name from Chile.
Stephanie Vicaire.
Something, a big match like that on a SmackDown and really highlight. I don't know. But I don't know fully, but it does. As far as my prediction, before I leave it to you, I'm going to say Chelsea and Viper, and I do think they're going to break it now.
So Brandon has just, thank you, Brandon. He's gone for Piper and Chelsea.
Hey, Brandon.
He's going with you.
We're
Joey, who you got?
Yeah, I think before, I feel like I've been watching them tag for a while now and expecting a breakup, even after the last time they lost the titles. Yeah. You're kind of waiting for that breakup, and we're kind of assuming it could be WrestleMania, which it feels like it should be. That is a match you want on WrestleMania. But is there a chance they're going to do it earlier? Because there's a few things that are boiling towards WrestleMania that feel like they're going to wrap up sooner than WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It feels like we're so far away from WrestleMania. There's a few things on the verge that we want to be at WrestleMania, but I don't know if they all have to be at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Maybe they start announcing matches soon just to validate every ticket being £4,000.
Yes.
Do you know, but the problem with that is somebody spent 40 grand on a front row ticket. So we're all screwed.
Yeah.
Because
They destroyed the
if
market.
fans are spending 40 grand, it means that WWE are completely justified. Yeah. You can't get mad at it if people are spending and paying it. Stop paying it. Yeah. That's the whole point, that they have to change it. $40,000. People crazy. Sorry.
Well, a friend of ours just put in the WhatsApp group, ironically, the WhatsApp group has WWE Superstars in it, but it says he paid $1,600 for the 2 nights. And he just got hit with £110 fees on each ticket.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, that's how much the tickets are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I would still not want to pay £110.
Yes,
I'd be like, it's at the top of my price range, but I'll do it because they're good seats.
Yeah.
We're talking, that's the fee on top of... Yeah. I don't know.
There's probably other fees.
I'm sure it's a conversation for another day.
There's some other fees coming as well, probably, because anytime I go to America, it feels like the land of hidden costs. There's always VATs and all sorts going.
And this gets us back to politics. Anyway, who are you voting for? Yeah, go on. Who are you going for in this match?
Okay, wait. I'm going for Chelsea and Piper.
Okay.
I think they deserve it. They've been doing some fun stuff. I'd love to see...
He's got the same, isn't he?
I'd love to see Chelsea get...
No.
Cool.
Wow.
I think Bianca and Blair, Jade Cargill are keeping it. I don't think we're changing it at all. I think they've got that locked in for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I think, which is fine, I've got no problem with this. This is a different conversation. This really is politics. Maybe we'll talk about this one a different time. I think we have 4 women's tag teams on there to show, oh, look, we're growing the culture and we're doing all of that. I think that's why they're doing it. And listen, I have nothing against that. I think they're all very deserving of the opportunity. I think Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson have done really well. It's short matches, but they've been fine. That's okay. I don't get mad at that. So when people get mad at Jade, well, she doesn't do much. Who cares? She does what she needs to do really well. That's fine. I do. Who's tuning into a Jade Cargill match for Will Ospreay versus Ricochet? Who's expecting this? If you are, the problem is not on them.
Yeah, I'm desperate to see what her wrist looks like. That's what I'm really desperate.
Oh, that drives me nuts as well. Trust me, Jade Cargill probably has a better wrist lock than me. Let's not talk about it. Let's move on. But no, so you're both going for Piper and Chelsea, and I'm going to go for Jade and Bianca. Did someone else did throw something else in there? No, it was literally just people saying everyone just wants Chelsea Green to win a title. But the other, I don't know. I hope they introduce the mid-card belt and Chelsea Green wins that one. Yeah. Women's Intercontinental title, I think, at WrestleMania, ladder match, Chelsea Green wins. I think
that'd be nice.
Because Chelsea Green winning it in a hilarious fashion is what I want. Everybody else has fallen down. She looks around, big wide-eyed, climbs the ladder.
You get a massive reaction as well.
It would, yeah.
Oh, huge. Well, it's very similar to Mania 31 with Zack Ryder, right? Matt Cardona, very similar. Yeah. He's making a lot of noise now that he wants a contract somewhere. I wonder. Royal Rumble, maybe? 2025?
Honestly, I would love to see a run of him in WWE.
I would too. Yeah, me too. He doesn't have to be a world title guy. I think that's what some people think that... I don't think so. I think I don't like mid-card. We'll call it mid-card. The mid-card scene at the moment with the IC and US title is so good.
Yeah.
There's so many top proper stars in there. He'd fit in perfectly.
Yeah.
On that note, too, obviously, we've got LA Knight versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes. Never laughed so much in my life the way they just threw Game 7 out the window. And LA Knight literally went, yeah, screw it. Screw your investment in these other 5 matches or whatever. We're moving on. I actually did think that was it was ill-judged, but I like where it got us. Right? I want the 3-way. I think there probably could have been a better way to do it. But this one... I thought about it. I don't think LA Knight can keep the title here, simply because I don't understand why else you would do this. So this is another reason why I think Jade and Bianca are winning. Here it is where I think WWE is going to do their favorite multi-person finish, which is, I've won. Oh, someone threw me out the ring, and they got the pin. Yeah. I think they're going to give it to Carmelo Hayes, and I think they should give it to Carmelo Hayes because I did a video the other day. Like I just literally sat down and thought, who are my 10 favorite wrestlers right now? Actually. And he popped in there. And number 10, I was like, I think he's really taken advantage of the fact that SmackDown doesn't have a particularly large roster. And he's really shown out. Yeah. And even though he lost it a couple of times, because he gets his character and I think he's awesome. And I think we should, Andrade has more of a legacy because this is his second run in WWE and he had the stuff in, I know Carmelo did too, but I think when it was NXT Black and Gold, people really remember the Zelina Vega and Andrade run. Yeah. LA Knight is one of the most popular superstars in the company, so he's fine. So I think we should use this to really tell people if they're not on board, the mellow train. I can't think of a vehicle beginning with N. I'm sure there is one. That I think just this is the guy, and we're gonna go with it. So more of a manifestation. I think Carmelo Hayes is gonna win, or at least I hope he does.
Yeah,
I think my money's on Carmelo winning this one. I think
I'm surprised. Well, there we go.
Yeah, I think that might counteract what I said previously about another title change, because I know there's only usually like one.
Yeah, Saudi's kind of like the New England, isn't it? They give you one.
Yeah, you've convinced me fully. Carmelo Hayes is fantastic. Like, he is about as perfect a superstar as you could fashion or mold out of someone. I do like the way that they managed to fill like 6 weeks worth of TV time with or 7 weeks technically.
It wasn't weekly either, so it's about 3 months worth of TV.
They managed to fill some time there just to get to what we were all kind of waiting to happen anyway, but I do appreciate that.
As much as I'm on the Mellow Milk Truck, there
you go. Boom. There it is.
I think it worked. Mellow Milk Truck is a good name for an episode. I'm going to stick with LA because I just feel he's got enough going on that I don't feel like this is his story. The story is Andrade and Carmelo. And I feel like he's kind of just inserted himself. I didn't really like how he inserted himself by kind of...
No.
He was the heel, wasn't he? He was like... he was like, screw this.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you're in a triple threat. And he had to react like, oh, no. Which isn't kind of what you want your big baby... Yeah. I know he's not a quintessential babyface. He's got a bit about him. But I don't know. It just seems like that run he's had just from Logan, it's only been 6 weeks, 7 weeks. And it just doesn't seem like SummerSlam, wasn't it? It was SummerSlam right at the start of August, wasn't it?
It's about 2 months he's had it,
yeah. So
it's not that long.
It's not long, and I feel like there's something big because I mean, if you pull LA Knight out of this story, I know you could go to Saturday night's main event with him and Carmelo 1-on-1, something like that, and then he moves on to something then. And maybe a wrestler like LA, his story is he's in the Royal Rumble and he's trying to win it.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really need a title in this kind of part of the year.
Well, Veggio, probably said that completely wrong, says LA Knight should be in the final four of the Rumble. They threw that in there.
Yeah,
That's
I'd agree.
What they think should happen.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And maybe that is, and I'm kind of talking myself out of what I'm thinking. But his story going beyond Saturday night main event might be just declaring himself for the Royal Rumble like they do. And then him just getting into that kind of story of preparing for the Royal Rumble and then coming top four, then finding something for Mania.
Yeah.
So maybe they do need to get the title off of him to kind of establish a mid-card on SmackDown that isn't just LA Knight or Logan Paul.
Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily someone that has to have the title. I think his character and presence and popularity is already there. Yeah. I don't think the title's necessary for him.
I'm 100% want Carmelo Hayes to win it.
Yeah.
I just think it's LA Knight. Okay. So I'm going to go with LA.
Okay. Yeah. So we've got 2 Carmelo Hayes and 1 LA Knight. This is not the way this predictions was going. Shout out to Beer, I can't pronounce that. Bear Jamie, because they were very nice, and they said, well done on winning at Progress, Simon. Thanks, man. I met you at AEW Cardiff. I was dressed as the Young Bucks. Oh, it's that guy. He was awesome. That guy, I mispronounced your name. He was his costume, and he had the right attitude towards wrestling.
Nice.
He was a good guy. Oh, good. Thanks for watching, man. I appreciate that.
There you go.
And great... Nate, I don't know. That's more praise for me. I don't want to just read praise for me. I thought it was a question, but I appreciate it all the same. Thank you very much. I don't want to get to. We'll go Nia Jax, Liv Morgan.
Okay.
I kind of feel like WWE's done them a bit dirty. This match doesn't feel important at all.
No.
It's meant to be chamber. You've got Cody and Gunther being like, oh my gosh, it's going to change the force of sports entertainment. And Nia's like, Tiffany, you're annoying me. And Liv's like, I'm going to go beat up Rhea Ripley with a baseball bat and bludgeon her on NXT.
Yeah.
It's like, I know they've had interaction, but it's hilarious how, and actually, Nia Jax and Liv Morgan have benefited because this match is going to be way more fun than that Gunther and Cody Rhodes one. Because Gunther and Cody Rhodes will get there. They backed themselves into a corner. Remind me to talk about that, but I'll wait till I get there. So the more I thought about this, you do not want Nia Jax to lose, and you do not want Liv Morgan to lose. So Tiffany Stratton should just cash in. This is the time. I actually think this is earlier than I would have done it. But you have found yourself in this position, and I actually think it opens up the door. I would have waited till WrestleMania, but now I've changed my mind. I think this is the time. But I just, especially when Candice LeRae was doing all that stuff on SmackDown instead of Tiffany, I was like, you know what? Let's just get it done. And let's have some fun with it. And then I do think that Liv Morgan should be winning, Rhea Ripley should be winning the belt from Liv Morgan sooner rather than later too. That's why I'm glad they did that NXT angle. It kind of heated it back up again. But after Raw, I was like, oh, I think we've peaked. I think, not a bad way, just in a wrestling life way. Yeah. Oh, it's time to get some business done. So as we can now pivot back to that, I think Tiffany and Nia should probably be something for a Saturday Night event, a Royal Rumble, the first Netflix show, and then you have what do you call it, Liv Morgan, not Liv Morgan. Whatever you would do, I don't know. You'd have other people running around though to continue on the mini feud. So when I did it on the predictions the other day, it made me. This is why wrestling's so great. My prediction for Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan is Tiffany Stratton. How does that make any sense to anyone that doesn't watch wrestling? God. And I also need to know when she cashes in, how does she then? Are all the belts up for grabs? Does she have to? Because those belts aren't up for grabs. So does she have to determine who she's actually cashing in on? Does it become a magical three-way? It could get quite messy, but I'm going to say that Tiffany Stratton cashes in and wins Nia Jax's belt, just to be very specific here with what I'm saying.
I have a lot of questions, actually. I have more questions than I have answers in this one. We were watching Raw last night, and I said to you exactly what Simon said. I said, it's weird how Gunther Cody seems like apparently it's the biggest match in history of WWE, but I haven't even seen Nia and Liv next to each other. No. I feel like they have. But I forgot that match was happening. Question: have we seen the women's version of the Saudi title?
It's the same thing.
But
so
have they shown it? Because this is probably their way out of it. Is there wasn't one?
Yeah, exactly. When they're carrying it around in that stupid case, they just act like that's it for both of them. So maybe sometimes it's the men's, sometimes it's the women's. I can't stand it. I really, really can't stand it. I hate it, to be honest.
Am I looking at this too deep, though, that maybe the reason they aren't showing two separate is because they have had one made? Because Tiffany's going to cash in.
Yeah.
So if you do match two... Match 2 on the night, it's next to the ring, the title all night, let's say.
Yeah.
They act like this is the winners. And then because she cashes in, they just leave it there.
Yeah.
And conveniently later on, one of the others picks it up. So maybe that is why they're not walking around with... There's not women with little white gloves on holding a box
it's very
on
true.
every show.
It's a very good
They're always
point.
getting in elevators as well with this title. They need to be careful.
They do.
They're always...
Seth Rollins came out of an elevator on Raw. Who filmed that? Who knew, Seth's coming down an elevator. Go film it. Destroyed kayfabe. Absolutely destroyed it.
You love this stuff. You must have loved Triple H getting called out by Randy and being like, I'm not going. And then his music came and he went, I have to go now.
I died. Someone in production took over the WWE within what we see on television and went, I'm sorry, I pushed play now, so you got to go. Kevin Owens was at home having a heart attack. Like, oh, no.
I just love it. He was like, I'm not going. The music player goes, I'm going to have to go.
Do you know what? On that note as well, you know how everyone on the internet gets on his case, like, oh, he does love the spotlight, blah, blah, blah. Is everybody crazy? Of course he does. He was a wrestler for 30 years, whatever. If I was Triple H, I'd be like, how do I figure myself in constantly? Yeah. Of course I would. I love how people pretend they wouldn't do it. Yeah. They would be the silent person in the corner. No, you wouldn't. You're in charge. Of course you'd put yourself on TV. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I was going to say, because we're kind of still talking about the women's match, but it's not really... I don't think it really affects... Is Kevin Owens and Randy Orton happening in Saudi?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
That's on the show.
We'll get to that in a second then. Because I was so miffed when they added more matches that I was like, where are we at? And then
7.
You look at Twitter and there's like people showing us what happened on SmackDown this coming week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are we at? And then Raw is live, so they're pretending
it's messy. Yeah,
it's confusing me a little bit.
I think
my answer is Tiffany's going to win as well. And there is no second belt, and I'm convinced that somehow we're just going to forget that they never ever showed us another belt.
So
she's cashing in on just the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yes, that's what I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean that
she'll pin Nia and she'll go? She's cashing in. She's not making it a triple threat. She's not making it a triple threat. She's going to make it a one-on-one with Nia just near the end of the match.
So it makes the women's title void. The Saudi Arabia.
There's not one.
So it makes it in kayfabe.
That's right. It makes it void. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's no belt.
Yeah, but because Joe, there isn't. There's one. I've only seen one, and they're not sharing.
Okay.
It's got 72 diamonds in it.
We know all the stats, and you have to wear gloves when you're not just holding the box.
Wow.
You have to wear gloves for the box.
So when the wrestlers are carrying,
and it has to have 2 security people.
Wow. the wrestlers put little gloves on after the match.
Do you know what? I feel like
Tiffany's winning.
I feel like they're going to tease the dissension.
I don't know if they can get any more.
Yeah, but I think she's going to try and cash in, and I think there's going to be a whole thing where they don't know which title she's trying to cash in on.
Yeah, so they got to get to SmackDown to find out what title she now has.
I don't even think they get that far. I think there's just confusion from everyone because the ref is saying, which one are you cashing in on?
And she doesn't know it.
Do you know, I can see that.
And they go around in circles, and it never
yeah.
happens, and someone gets pinned.
And then they win it. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
That's quite good. I quite like it. Tiffany's been like that, right?
Yeah.
Every time she's gone to cash in, she's been a bit like, I don't know what to do. That's quite good. I quite like that.
Well, she's looking at the Saudi Arabia toy. She's like, I want that one. And they're like, you can't have that.
They're like, that one's the men's one. We don't have one for you. No one knows yet. No, it makes sense because remember Mike Chioda when Carmella cashed in. He's like, you want to cash in? And she's like, I want to cash in. He's like, when now? And it went on for ages. And this time they could make sense, couldn't they? Where the ref's like, which title? She's like, what do you mean which title? She's like, what are the three of them?
You've got to pick one of three. Yeah.
She's like, I don't know
that's
which
quite
one.
good.
That one. And then,
And he's like, you can't have that one.
Yeah, you can't have that one. You're not allowed that one.
That's stupid, but it's good. I quite like that. I think that's quite fun. I think that's quite entertaining. So who are you going with then, Joey?
Yeah, who's going, Joey? What's your answer?
Who's winning? Yeah.
If I'm going with that theory that is all going to happen, I think Liv wins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think that makes sense.
I think all of that will mess up everything for Nia. Liv rolls up Nia, done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Liv takes it.
Okay.
Although now we also have the issue, Rhea Ripley got killed, so she's probably in Saudi Arabia. She's probably going to get interfered in that match as well.
Yeah, true.
Ooh. We're getting very excited about this match. Rhea could come out during the match and destroy Liv in some capacity where the match kind of just ends. Yeah. Then Tiffany cashes in.
That's true.
So therefore that other title wasn't kind of still there.
So you never even get there. Yeah.
I don't know. But I feel like there's a lot of run-ins and we're changing the title in every match so far. So,
I'm going Tiffany Stratton.
Okay.
I'm going Tiffany Stratton.
I'm
sticking with it.
Yep, nice. I agree.
And then we've got Liv Morgan as well. All right, okay. So we had some other... Where are the other people? So Brandon thinks that Tiffany's going to cash in and fail. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. TDF Clan, who's going to win between the Bloodline? We'll get there in just 1 second. And there's so many questions. Connor's like, well, when did she cash in? Before the match? After the match? I don't know. Connor, it's very confusing. And Great Nate said, Triple H coming out fits perfectly and adds a whole new layer to Orton and KO. It's almost a reward. Appreciate that. So we are going to talk about Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. This, to me, is very Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
You have to have Kevin Owens win. You cannot have Kevin Owens go mega heel, leave the company.
Yeah.
Be told by the owner that he is the most feared man on the planet and we're protecting Randy Orton from, that he comes in and loses. See how bad that would be. Now, it's very interesting because Randy Orton's lost a lot this year for Randy Orton. Like, he really has. 2 matches to Gunther he lost is a lot. People think that's crazy, but he's Randy Orton. He's larger than life. He's like a legendary figure. So I think Randy Orton losing has to tie into the Randy Cody feud that I'm now convinced we're getting after WrestleMania. I think they've already decided we're going to do the Rock stuff, and then it works because you're going to have this 6-month period. You're like, oh wow, Kevin Owens beat, and I'm sure he'll win him back too. But it will plant the seed for him turning on Cody, and I don't know how they're going to tie that in, but they probably do. But I think it would be such a misstep if Kevin Owens doesn't win here. I think you have the again. This is exactly the same as Seth Rollins. Randy Orton could lose 42 matches in a row, and he's still Randy Orton. He's arrived at that level where he's completely bulletproof. Kevin Owens should be there. But it irks me because I know that he's not. When I search my feelings, I know he hasn't been put on that pedestal. So let's put him on that damn pedestal, right? He is genuinely, I talk about this all the time. You know, someone described it as a moat the other day that was good. It doesn't work, but modern day goat. They call it a moat. That was really good. I think he's my modern day GOAT. I like so much I love him. He's just my favorite wrestler. I look forward to seeing him. And I think getting a big win over Randy Orton, even if he cheats, it doesn't matter. He's gone bad guy. He can cheat. That's the whole point. Yeah. And it can also add Randy getting more mad. I think he's got to do it. I think Kevin Owens has to win. I think it's non-negotiable. It's like a terrorist situation. Yeah. It's a non-negotiable hostage terrorist situation. Kevin Owens has to win.
No, I'd have to agree.
Yeah.
He, like you said, you can't be considered the most feared guy by the owner. And then he comes in and just loses a one-on-one match to an RKO. And you're like, oh, yeah. Is he that feared?
Suck.
The fact that he's dangerous enough that they had to send him home. Like the amount of times that people have jumped people at wrestling shows. And he's done this and they've had to send him home for the safety of the wrestlers.
Yeah.
There's no way he can lose this match. And Randy Orton would lose nothing by losing this.
Again, I have more questions than answers here, but they've built... The Triple H thing is what interests me. Is I don't know what that's about. And I don't know if it's just the Cody Randy story is being told while Cody's busy with Trips and Randy, because Trips to Randy is what Randy is to Cody.
Yeah.
So they're starting the emotional story with the grandfather and the dad.
The evolution to legacy.
Before we get to the son.
And the son, for sure.
And he's saying, I'm worried about you because of your back. This, to me, is Randy keeps going to win, nearly wins, and then powerbomb on the apron.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. His back's gone.
Which he didn't do against Cody too. Yeah. That ties in. He did not do that against Cody Rhodes. He didn't want
to
kill him.
But he's going to do it this time. Trips, they might even end the match there and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I really think this is leading to the Cody-Randy thing sooner, because I think Cody's going to go to Randy and be like, what are you doing? And Randy could be saying, you know, you got us in this mess with the bloodline. That got me teaming with a guy who turns on everyone. My back's just been shot. I've got kids. All these things. Heath Slater stuff.
He's got kids.
Yeah, Heath Slater's got kids as well. And you know what I mean? And they do all that. And then he turns on Cody because he's like, you're the reason I'm in this predicament. Yeah. And I think Saturday night's main event or Survivor Series, the WWE title match is Randy and Cody. I think it's that soon.
That's cool.
Oh, my only problem with that is because I know that WrestleMania is so close. I know that Cody's going to win. I need Randy Orton to beat Cody Rhodes for the title. And I think it's much more likely of that happening outside of WrestleMania or after WrestleMania 41. Randy Orton has to win. I don't want to spoil my videos. I did a whole video on this the other day going nuts that Randy Orton has to be champion in 2025. Even if for a month, it doesn't matter how long he holds it. You need that visual of, oh my gosh, he beat him. And you need to talk about, they won't say it, but you need to talk about AEW and legacy. And you left in 2016 when I was your biggest, again, I was the Triple H to Randy Orton. I was your Triple H and you left me.
Yeah.
And again, you come back and you're this big success. I have to take a year and a half off. You didn't call me, all that wrestling nonsense.
Yes.
I don't think you can get all that in well, actually, you've got a lot of time. I don't know. It just worries me with all the Rock and Roman stuff hanging over the top of it.
Because that's all I think is that I think that story's been started by Trips and Randy now. The story gets told with Saudi. Cody, after he wins this match, we kind of need to get him out of the way so that Sammy can get in that kind of bloodline world. Cody needs something. The big story that we're all waiting to see is that one.
Yeah.
But for me, what if he won it at Survivor Series, Randy, and then dropped it back on the first Netflix on Raw? Because I mean,
that's fine.
You know, do you know what I mean? The imagery of Randy with the title, I think people know Randy. Yeah. Cody reminding everyone, the new viewers, this is our guy. He's going to WrestleMania with The Rock and Roman or whatever they're doing. I wonder if that is the play.
You could have Cody win it back and The Rock comes out at the end of the Netflix show. Yeah. It's pretty good.
That's good. Pretty good. Like Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, then Rock, and everyone's going to be like, oh, I love this show.
Perfect.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. But that does mean, so that it will be, what day is the first SmackDown after Saudi? We have to go hard with Randy Cody. I want that story told properly.
Yeah.
I want hardcore promos every single week. I want 2 months solid of inside baseball and all the stories. They have to do it. It's great. Well, be interesting.
It could be Kevin Owens, Randy, and Cody triple threat at Saturday night's pay-per-view, Saturday night main event first, because we haven't even done the Cody. Cody's not mentioning the Kevin Owens stuff, is he? He's kind of.
Oh, yeah.
He had the plasters and all that, and he was like refusing to talk about it.
Almost like he's distracted by something unimportant.
Like a giant title that the women don't have. There's only one championship. I swear, there's one championship.
There's one.
I'm convinced. They would be showing us a white one somewhere.
I think they've left the other one in a lift somewhere.
It's always exactly.
I'm going Kevin Owens though. Joey, who you got?
It's got to be Kevin. Same with, like you said, the Bronson Reed thing. I think Kevin Owens has to not destroy Orton.
He has to break his back and humble him.
Definitely somewhat break his back in some way, shape or form. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And humble him.
100%.
So let's do another weird prediction, and people in TikTok chat weigh in as well. When I'm still going to go, actually, I think your idea is great, Scott, to be fair. I'm still going to go post-WrestleMania is Cody Randy. You're going to go before, Scott, before Mania?
I think by the time we do a Christmas episode of the Positive Wrestling Podcast, Randy Orton will be champion, and we would have had the story in his midway through.
I'm all right with it.
I'm happy.
Joey,
it'd be such good TV,
before or after?
I'm going to have to go after. Just because
that's how I feel.
I'd rather see him potentially take the title after WrestleMania's done.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
I really would. But at the same time, I always go back to CM Punk, Bryan Danielson in AEW. We didn't do it, and then we really should have done it.
Yeah.
we should have just done that match, which is why I was thinking about this the other day. I don't care that we did Ospreay versus Ricochet.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Just get this stuff done.
Yeah.
Wrestling's too unpredictable. It's too unpredictable.
Exactly. So unpredictable. Shout out to Chris Bay, obviously.
Yeah.
Before we kind
of... Yeah, actually, I would address that here, actually, just in case, because I want as many people to hear it as possible. I hate talking like this. I'm not trying to say what a great person I am. That's not what I'm saying. But throughout October, I said to everyone, if you buy a cameo, I drop the prices and stuff. All the money will go to the Hurricane Fund that was set up. But I was talking to some wrestlers who, I don't want to give too much away, but are very familiar with both situations. And they said, Simon, it'd be probably best to put that money towards Chris Bay at the moment. So I put it out on my social media. Everyone seems cool. If you're watching this and you donate to it's basically a charity campaign and you don't like that, that's fine. It's your money. I get it. So please drop me a line and we can have a conversation and figure it out. But we are going to put that money into the Chris Bay Fund because, yes, shout out to Chris Bay, who on a personal level I've talked to Chris Bay a lot. He's the super nice. Not only is he super nice, he will help you, and he will help you, and he will help you. So we don't want to speculate on here. We don't know what's going on. I would imagine it's quite severe. And shout out to ELP as well, of course, because he found a cancerous tumor, and he's taken some time off as well. So, but the point is, and I say this, look, it's all bad. It's all relative. I don't want anyone to have anything. But when you have someone essentially come out and say, I've had to stop cancer, but please worry about Chris Bay, I think it
it's bad,
up that he made. Yeah. So all the love to that guy. And yeah, when we know more, I'll share my stories. But for now, we'll just keep it. We'll keep it there. And we'll also talk about the Bloodline. OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline. Way too soon for me. It just is. I would have held this off to Survivor Series. I really would. I don't think they need to touch. However, there is going to be no winner here. So it's fine. It's going to be absolutely
we got no winners in anything.
But the thing is, like, at the very best, the Roman Reigns bloodline will win because Jacob Fatu causes the DQ. That's not a real win. That doesn't mean anything. That's just nonsense. I get it. I know. I tell you what, I don't get it. I tell you why it annoys me. I know that we're only doing it so quick because of Saudi Arabia. It just frustrates me sometimes because WWE is at its best when we're not giving it to you. We're going to wait. You're like, really? You're going to wait? And that's when it gets better. And what did they do at WrestleMania 39? Oh, you want Cody to win? Nope. You got to wait a year. Brilliant. And now it's going, they're literally back together. I also disagree with this. It's rushed. It started in 2020. There is no rushing here. It's been going on for almost 5 years. It has had plenty of time. But I do understand the criticisms. And look, it's just going to be a showcase match. So we get all these stars on the show. And then eventually a Jacob Fatu, or I would imagine what happens is Jacob Fatu goes, screw you guys, after about 8 minutes. Because why would he attack straight away? Give it 8 minutes. And then who comes out to make the save? Sami Zayn, right? Something like that. And then there you go. There's War Games. And we're good to go. And it'll be a great moment. And I'll love it. And Sami will probably pretend he's going to help Solo because we had that stuff on Raw. Haha, not really. Which always makes me laugh because why would you do that in real life? You would just go after the person you hated. Not, I'm going to trick you first. And then I'm going to get you. So it's fine. But we should do that because that's why wrestling is the absolute best. But it's another reason why this match doesn't need to happen. It's sort of pointless, which sounds ridiculous because it's the bloodline, which is the most important thing in the entirety of the company. Yeah,
if that match definitely felt like we weren't getting it yet. And then Saudi Arabia went, are we not getting Roman Reigns? I went, yeah, you are.
That's it. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was either this or he was going to go against Andrade or someone, and they were like, this Roman Andrade match is a bit strange on the card. No, I agree, and I think I don't know who it was. Connor Carmichael said the same. This match is just to set Sami into War Games.
And which is fine.
For all we know, Roman has restricted dates. Maybe one of the dates was this. They were like, you're not in the next 2 out of 4 SmackDowns before Survivor Series. We need to get to you and Sami Zayn together to make sure the people know it. So yeah, it does feel like exactly how you said. Here's an 8-minute match. Here's Jacob Fatu. Number game. How are we going to change it? Who's super over in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Sami Zayn. He runs out, makes the save. Like you said, he'll tease easy with Solo. No, he's not. Turn around. They all help each other up, and we finally get all 4 of them with the OG Bloodline. And they say the OG Bloodline is back. And then you got War Games, which I'm very happy about because I think that War Games match is really good. Like the people in it, I love the fact Sami Zayn is so tied into the bloodline that in 20 years when we talk about how good this story was, everyone was related except for that one guy who's
the crazy comedy guy at one point.
Yeah.
He always reminds me of I think it was like Lethal Weapon 3.
Yeah.
When Joe Pesci was there with Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. He's that in that situation.
It's so true. Yeah.
And I love it. I think it's awesome. But...
It's like the longest running storyline ever. But we've taken so many turns that there was a bloodline, then there's another bloodline.
There's an OG bloodline.
Yeah, there's an OG bloodline that's come back to defeat the other bloodline. And then there's an added member of the OG bloodline teasing that he's going to join the new bloodline, but he's actually with the OG bloodline. Yeah. And I think this is all just going to be... The end of the show will basically be like a souped-up TV show. Like you said, Roman may have restricted dates. I think the ending of the show is literally just like a souped-up SmackDown to get you to War Games.
We might even see Heyman.
Heyman's got to be added to this.
May even see Hikuleo.
Yeah, very true.
Everyone said Hikuleo's going to NXT. I think that may be a little bit of a let's work the sheets, brother.
Yeah. I like the idea of War Games being Hikuleo, but Heyman is in the OG one, but Heyman's taped up.
Oh, yeah, he's all Bobby Heenan'd up. He's got...
I think at Canada, Survivor Series, we're getting Heyman and Hikuleo. I've convinced myself. I think... I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I think New Bloodline are going to win War Games. Oh, yeah.
I think they need it. I think that'd be really good. And it's tough because the New Bloodline, I think, are almost... I think they're great for what they are, but there is an element of a memeable about them.
They're not the original Bloodline.
Yeah, with Tama doing the yeah. And realistically, when you look at the team, you see it as 3 guys plus a superstar in Jacob.
Yeah.
And... As I think Solo is so underrated, entertaining. Yeah. I think he's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
He knows the story so well.
Yeah.
He's so insecure.
And the speed at which he's got here. As a wrestler, he hasn't been wrestling that long.
No.
And the speed at which he's figured all this out is unreal. He's very underrated.
He's very underrated, but
I agree.
They just don't quite look like the OG Bloodline. So something that would help is if they destroy the OG Bloodline by the end of War Games. That puts them on a different level where everyone goes, they should be feared.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm with you.
I don't mind it. Can we just shout out the Motor City Machine Guns at this point as well? Because I thought SmackDown at the end was one of the best. I think it was one of the better SmackDowns I've seen in a long time. I watched the whole thing in full. You know, very rarely do I, not zap on a couple bits. I mean, I felt emotional for the Motor City Machine Gun. Seeing, a tag team in their 40s. Yeah. I'm not quite 40. I know Simon is according to Wikipedia. But I mean, we're close to 40 all of us.
Don't do it.
Wait, I've already crossed that bridge.
Joe's crossed the bridge.
I've already crossed that bridge, brother.
In many years, Simon and I, in 10, 15, will cross that bridge as well. But for the over 40s crew, tag team, I imagine ourselves, journeyman tag team, finally make it to the big time. Yeah. They win the title. I felt emotional.
I'm emotional now.
Then a real good tag team of actual real life brothers like ourselves. Yeah. They get back together and they hug, and I got even more emotional. And I was like, this is viewing directed at us. Yeah. They're trying to make me emotional.
I felt it.
And I felt emotional. So I'm really happy for
awesome.
those guys.
I love in wrestling, and it's kind of happened to Shelton Benjamin recently as well, where you dedicate yourself to something, and then one day someone goes, "Here's your flowers," and everyone rallies behind this person. And it was the same with the Motor City Machine Guns. I was so happy for them. Like, if you've been watching wrestling in its current guise forever long, you know those two were at the source or whatever we have now, especially with tag team wrestling. And same with Shelton, man, right? Never really given his due in the proper way. And now seeing him being treated like a main event guy, I loved it. I love it. It's just what I want to see. So, no, I was the same. I thought that last 25 minutes of SmackDown was top 10 ever stuff in terms of segments and just having fun and doing the right thing. Because now, if you didn't know who the Motor City Machine Guns were, which is fine, no one has to know who these people are. Now you're interested. Like, oh, wow. Well, I better keep an eye on these guys. Although I hope we don't break up DIY. A bit worried about that.
I think they are.
But they're not going anywhere at the moment. There's not enough room for them. They're talented enough, but there's not enough room to do a singles program.
Yeah, if Trips manages to get that exact singles program that they did in NXT on the main roster, I'll be so happy because I think that's one of my favorite ones. But whether they can, I don't know.
I've said that. I tell you, man, I don't want to drop in my sources here. If people enjoying 2-hour WWE shows, 2025 is not your friend. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. It does
Maybe
seem
you
that
like
way,
6 hours worth of shows. Maybe you like
I'm
that
gonna be honest,
instead.
I think Trips is better at booking a 3-hour show than he is a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Because
you're 100% right. I would actually argue that it's more... No, let me rephrase this. WWE, the way they're trying to book, works better as a 3-hour show. Yeah. However, Simon Miller, the wrestling watcher, is having so much fun when Raw ends. And I'm like, it's over. It's fantastic.
Last night's one, the Raw's one this week, I really thought they'd just cut it in half.
Last week I felt the same.
Damian Priest was beating up Dominic Mysterio, and I was like, okay, I went to start fast forwarding, and nothing happened. I went,
that was a bad ending. It was a really bad ending.
Really
they forgot to culminate. They just stopped.
But when you were saying about SmackDown, it did. I watched that completely spoiler free, and when Roman came out, I popped. I went. I thought it was just gonna be a J or something. It was Roman, then Jay, and I was like, "What is happening?" And then they won the titles. And
it was like pop after pop after.
Yeah,
pop.
It just felt quite unexpected. You were talking about flowers to people that deserve it, but they haven't done it. It happened this week at Progress when Simon Miller won the Proteus Championship, and I'm telling you right now, he didn't even realize it, but he was talking about it. That is the one. Moxie Machine Guns and Simon Miller. That was the two feel-good moments.
Yeah. That was very kind.
Let's do a little tap.
No, don't. I'll cry.
To be honest, we've seen a lot of your journey as a wrestler as well. Like, we've been on some early shows. He deserves it. Like, we did some early UPWs with you, like, years ago.
We work in Essex, Harwich with you, and you were over by the merch table, and we were far too loud. And I remember you thinking, these guys are loud.
Yeah. But we knew because we have the same mindset as Simon. We always have, like, the entertainment side, having fun, not losing the fandom. Being a wrestler, because we are kids inside that grew up watching wrestling.
Yeah.
And my dad said it to me a minute ago, like, not to go off of, we're putting you over here.
Crown jewels.
But my dad said a minute ago, I showed him our belt, and he said,
because we brought him to the studio.
Yeah. And he said, could you imagine yourself as a kid thinking ahead to you guys having titles?
No.
And that stuff blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I love championships.
It.
And for you to win what you won at the weekend is unreal. And big congratulations. You deserve
That's another round of applause for Simon. Look at this. Look how he hates it.
Too nice.
I love it.
Well, I really appreciate it. I just don't know what... I'm a British person. I don't know what to do with it. It's just like...
You don't have to say anything, but I'll tell you what you do have to say. Yeah. What's going to happen in Cody versus Gunther?
Here we go. I tell you what's going to happen. A whole lot of nothing. Yeah. That's what's going to go down.
They backed themselves in the corner, you told me to remind you.
They're so... Of course they are, right? Yeah. Now, listen, surprise, surprise, the news came out this week, Goldberg isn't in Saudi Arabia, which to me says Goldberg is 100% in Saudi Arabia. It's like, leak that one, leak that, get out of there. Listen, man, let's take, wrestling is real, right? We're going into wrestling is real land, okay? It's all legit and stuff. If I'm Gunther and I beat Cody Rhodes, or I'm Cody Rhodes and I beat Gunther, I'm walking out onto my show and saying, well, can I have my rematch, please? I just beat the champion. I deserve a championship match. And they ain't going to do that. And it just breaks the whole thing. So don't do it. It's so dumb. And also, if you genuinely hate each other, which they do, we've made that up in the story, even if you knew you weren't able to get a championship match, as they have been saying in their pre-promos, I'm the better champion. And no one's going to say that. So you're like, what is the point of any of this? It's such a waste of my time. Yeah. Just because you had to have some gaudy Saudi Arabia title. That's what annoys me. That's old WWE. That's when WWE was frustrating and silly. And I like new WWE, where everything makes sense and there's purpose and we really like respect these. And I get it, business, money. I've told this before. Attendances, ratings, TV deals, interest in it, don't have to care. I'm a fan. I get to care about what I see on my television screen, which is why I'm a huge fan for Goldberg being there and spearing the crap out of Gunther, because then Cody can just do a wink nudge on SmackDown like, should we move on? Yes. And that's actually but that's what you would do. Yeah. If all of a sudden you were like, oh, I shouldn't really have won that, but at the same time, it's not my fault. You'd be like, let's just not talk about it. And Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, oh, I really hate you. That actually makes sense, which is why Goldberg 100% should interfere. He should spear Gunther, which actually I think may make him a heel. I'm a bit worried WWE's misjudged this a little bit. But that actually is because people get mad, but what? We have no pay-per-views until Royal Rumble. So either first Raw of Netflix, I'd personally do it there, or Saturday Night's Main Event is fine too, but I would hold it for... We want people to tune in. Saturday's Main Event is either here or there. I would do Gunther versus Goldberg on either of those shows for the championship. That's fine. It's a bit dumb, but that's okay. And then you do 5 minutes and Gunther beats him.
Yeah.
No problem. That's absolutely fine. And then we go into 2025 and I have no idea who his brand new opponent is going to be, but that's fine. Surprise me. Pick somebody and go with it. So Cody wins, but because of Gunther, for sure. I mean, because of Goldberg, 100%. It has to do that. If you don't do that, I think you really are going to look stupid. Yeah. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, I think
you're going to really silly.
I love that idea. I love that. Like, in the Saudi Arabian show gets the new title that is theirs and Goldberg. And then you set up Gunther Goldberg. That is like a dream match. I think that's fantastic. And then as long as Goldberg does
do the honors
for Gunther.
He has to lose. He has to lose. Yes, he can't win. That's terrible. Yeah.
I think Gunther, they've protected him so well. Sammy's his only kryptonite, really, and Ilya Dragunov in NXT UK. I like the idea that Goldberg, forces him to lose to Cody. So they're keeping him strong.
Yeah.
But then he beats Goldberg. So it's just another, I was going to say notch in his bedpost, but that's not the right term.
Wow.
And another feather in his cap
Yeah.
to make it weird. But it is. And I think Survivor Series, they could do that Survivor Series, because if you have War Games and you have, let's say it's Randy, Cody, and that.
Gunther Goldberg.
I mean,
that's a heck of a card.
That's a huge card.
I agree with you. The only reason I keep it for TV is because Goldberg actually does increase TV ratings.
Yes,
they actually do go up. That's it. I mean, I don't mind, but if I was a business person, I may be like, well, actually, if we put one, because Saturday night's main event is on network TV, isn't it? It's not cable, it's NBC or whatever. So that actually may draw people in. That's the only reason I would do it.
Yeah.
But as a fan, do it. Who cares? Do it on whatever show you want. I don't mind.
Well, I think they could get, even if they got some good TV in the lead up as well. I'm guessing they're not just going to throw like the spear straight to the match. I guess they are going to have some good TV, because I think Goldberg does great TV. Like when he's doing the segments,
he's a bit unpredictable.
He's unpredictable. I love that unpredictability. Like where he's already headbutted a wall, he's bleeding before he comes out.
He's concussed and he can't do the match.
He's breathing in smoke and like just
he coughs a lot.
It's fantastic.
I do worry about that cough.
I'm all for Goldberg being on our TV a bit more.
I am. I'm going to try and do a little devil's advocate here.
Okay.
On the whole Saudi experiment.
Yeah.
I'm going to try.
I'm genuinely intrigued to see what's going to come out here.
Obviously, I'm not going to go so far because I don't care enough. But as far as this championship, if you imagine, we're so like we have a predisposition to wrestling and championships and what they mean, and you defend championships because, like in boxing, you have a title, they're both up for grabs most of the time.
Yeah.
But when you think of sport, for example, the Saudi title reminds me of the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah.
You get, the Europa Cup champs and the Champions League winners. They face each other to win this other cup.
Yeah.
And do you know what they do with that cup? They hold it, then they forget about it.
Yeah.
But they still go do it.
Yeah.
But you know what they don't do? I beat him for the Premier League, so I need the Premier League title as well. So, do you know what I mean? I don't know if they're coming at it from that kind of view.
What, as in they're going to actually defend?
No. It's like they're trying to say, like, it's like sport. I know they're both champs.
Yeah.
But they don't want each other's belts. They want that really random trophy. And that means something because we've said it means something.
Yeah.
But once it's finished, they'll just kind of push it to one side and put it in their accolades.
Well, Braun Strowman's still got one of these, hasn't he?
Strowman's still the longest reigning champ.
I don't think I've seen it since.
Yeah. But
Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah. I that's the only thing I can kind of correlate it to try and make it make half sense.
Yeah.
It's actually really good, but my comeback would be, we all know the Champions League is better than the Europa League.
Yes.
Whereas WWE is telling us that the world title and the WWE title are of similar substance.
True.
And if anything, you should have Gunther win if you're going to do a one-on-one, because that belt needs more gravitas than the other one because it's still newer.
Yeah.
So I just think they put themselves in such a difficult position when there's no need.
There's also a visual thing to this. I don't know how many times Cody can just finish a show holding up another giant trophy. So like if this pay-per-view ends with fireworks, Goldberg's taking out Gunther. He's got this belt that looks too big for him probably. It's longer than him. I don't know what that does. All I can think is the closing shot will be him laying on that belt because Kevin Owens has come out and albumed him. And Owens,
wonderful. Why not? Yeah, it was great. Wonderful.
Because
Take
I don't until how long until the crowd turn on a guy who keeps winning and keeps holding up the title, keeps wearing suits and keeps saying long words and keeps saying, I'm the Tom Brady, I'm the quarterback, I'm the John Cena of the company.
Yeah, which I'm here for. And so
I love it.
But I mean,
But that's the thing. I love him. So I can't. It makes me love him more.
I want him
to just keep doing it. I mean, John Cena did John Cena the whole time. I'm quite happy
half
with
the crowd hated John Cena.
but that's gonna come. Cody, he's gonna have
Cody, everyone unanimously loves him.
But he's got time. Wave.
True. Gunther makes more sense to be holding that ungodly title.
Yeah.
But it's not. It can't be him.
Well, the crowd keep booing the title, so I think the heel needs it.
Yeah, and he also won the crown and all that. Was it?
Oh, he did.
He had a cape on.
He won King of the Ring. Yeah,
he had a cape on not too long ago.
He's got a bit.
He's got all the bits.
He did. So we're all going with Cody then, thanks to Goldberg. We're all happy to go with that. Oh, wow, that's exciting. That's exciting. That's all the matches, right? There's no other matches, is there? Have I missed one? I don't think I have. If I have, serves it right for not being very important and not sticking in my brain.
I do appreciate, though, on a Saturday evening, I could just relax and not stay up all night to watch this.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's lovely.
And 5:30 football's not great, so it's ideal.
That's perfect.
Oh, yeah. Clay also said, have you mentioned the new WWE indie program? We haven't, and we are not going to talk about it today because I need more information. Don't know how you guys feel about it. At the moment, I have a bunch of headlines. I don't know what it means. I don't know. It sounds great. Sounds very exciting. But again, if there's caveats and stuff, I don't know. So yeah, I need to know more. But all I do know is I understand. Well, no, actually, I could have taken myself to America. I know that when I had the first inkling to go and become a wrestler when I was early 20s, I remember thinking, I have to go to America and looking for schools. I didn't know where to go. Whereas now, in the same place, I'd know exactly where to go. So straight away, that to me is much more exciting than me sitting in my crappy flat in Bournemouth going, well, I don't know what to do. Whereas now, I'd be like, oh, I do. There's 5 schools I can choose. I should email them. So straight away, that's a huge plus for me. But again, I don't know how it works. I literally have no idea. I don't know. So it's difficult for me to pass judgment on it. But it sounds exciting to me if it goes in the way that I would like it to go. But I don't know. So.
Yeah, I think it's good. They've got the NIL program for the athletes. I think it makes sense to have a pathway. I think Pete Dunne's talked about it before, where he said you need a pathway in every sport. If you want to become a football player, you put your kids in grassroots football, you get scouted to a team, you go for the youth.
That's true. I agree.
You don't just aimlessly play Saturday League football till you're 41
and hope
Arsenal pick you up. Which is what we do in football. So it makes a lot of sense. Realistically, from the minimal we know about it, they've just gone, who currently has a school in our company? Could you just let us know?
We're affiliated with anyway.
So I think we all knew if you went to the Nightmare Factory, you might have a go.
But if it is that, it's brilliant. So you go to Booker T's school, you go to Cody's school, you go to whoever other school, Kesey's school, Seth. Great. Perfect. Look, sounds awesome. That sounds like a really, really smart idea. But again, that's all the information I have. So, I don't know.
I tell you the bit I don't fully understand in this, but we'll get to this, is this for people that are like, they do the 12-week program and then WWE sign them? But that's not being an indie guy. That's being an athlete that's just done a little bit of training. So the idea of hiring indies, do you know what I mean? The school part.
I think it will be like that. What's the Barcelona player who's really good? 16, Lamar. That's not his name. Lamar, that's it. I think it'll be like him. If he turns up, he'll do 12 weeks and he'll be signed instantly. Because they'll be like, oh, yes, please, you're amazing. I think that's how it'll be. So like, if Kurt Angle turns up, they'll be, if he was an Olympic gold medalist, but someone that good, they'll just go, you're in. Because they have NXT, right, which is still developmental. Though actually the program isn't developmental. That annoyed me. What did they say the other day? Unless it was the Halloween Havoc show. One of the criticisms was, there's too much plunder, like stipulation matches for a developmental. That wasn't a developmental show.
No.
That was a proper WWE pay-per-view. Like, come on now.
I enjoyed that pay-per-view as well. I enjoyed that a lot. I watched that throughout a whole day. It took about 6 hours.
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I thought it was really easy to
so
watch.
Enjoyable.
It was just people hitting each other with pumpkins for 2.5 hours.
That's what I want from wrestling. That's the dream.
Perfectly happy with it. Perfectly happy with it. Like, I think, this is probably a conversation we should have on the next show. I think people put too much importance. No, they raise the bar too high for all these pay-per-views. Some have to just exist as you forget about it tomorrow, and that's okay. You watch it, especially when it's on the network and you've already paid for it. You absolutely can get away from it being, did you have fun? Yes. Did it matter that much? Not really. Okay, that's fine. I don't really have a problem with that at all. And also, what are they calling Delta? Zarya? Is that right? Zarian?
Something like that. I keep calling her Delta, and then I realised it wasn't how they were calling her. So
yeah, I know. So, but I mean, what a way to debut someone. And they gave her the F5. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good way.
That women's division NXT, though, is mad as well. Yeah. It's very good.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's fantastic. And the ratings are good too. So that's awesome. Right, that's it. Amazingly, we talked about Bad Blood. We talked about Saudi Arabia show for an hour. That's incredible. It goes to show, it can't be that bad if they could jump into it to that degree. So to more fool me. Although not a lot. Again, Raw was kind of hit and miss. Dynamite was, I mean, there's just not much going on in AEW at the moment because they're waiting for full gear. It's the whole John Moxley story, which we predicted 100% correct.
Yeah.
So there you go.
See how that pans
out.
I'm
interested. Yeah, I'm interested by it. We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Definitely.
But no, there's another huge, apart from the ID stuff, whatever WWE are calling it. There was no. Well, I don't remember any earth-shattering news apart from, very sadly, the Chris Bay and the Vikingo thing as well. We shout out Vikingo as well, who I think has shattered his leg again.
Yeah.
I mean, good grief, it's just the worst injuries. Oh, they suck. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for joining. Again, if you are on a platform right now, be it YouTube or podcast, like it, share it, 5-star it, leave a review. If you don't like it, why are you still listening? So you must have liked it, so be nice. And say something bad. It's true though, right? If you're an hour and 4 in and you didn't like it, you're insane. You're crazy. Guys, where can they find you if they want to come say hello?
We're on TBA Wrestling across all forms of social media. Check out YouTube and X, Instagram, those kind of things. We've got Gunners Rust podcast as well. And obviously check out Simon Miller 316 because every week when we do these, it's live. So you can be interactive. You can kind of have your voice heard.
I don't think, I think it's Simon J. Miller. I don't get it. It comes up with both on my TikTok.
It says Simon Miller 316, but I know. Gunners was advertising it as Simon J. Miller. So.
But on my homepage, it says Simon J. Miller. And I understand. Do you know what we're going to do? TikTok, I love you so much. I'm going to shut you down so we can do this properly. And thank you to everyone for joining me. Make sure you come in as well. Just get everyone listening as well. But I'm going to tell you where to actually go as I stop this. Yes, end my live because I get 2 different things, so I don't know what to do. Wow, we got loads of diamonds. Good work, guys. Smashing those diamonds. Where am I clicking? So at the top of that it says Simon Miller 316, but then I go to my profile and it says Simon J. Miller.
So we have that with Gunners R Us as well. It says Gunners R Us Pod, and then it says Gunners R Us.
Yeah.
Just fine. So Simon J. Miller, for some reason, it's me flexing in a Punisher top. I mean, just noticed that. I must have been in a very weird mood that day. That's not the kind of pictures I upload. So find me on there, and find Gunners R Us, find the Brothers TBA, and then eventually you'll be able to figure out where we are. And if you are on YouTube, of course, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below, do all those kind of things. And that's it. We're done. We'll be back next week to run down Crown Jewel and whatever else does go on. We'll probably have quite a lot to talk about. I think Raw is in Saudi Arabia, right? I think they're doing the Raw in Saudi Arabia on Monday. I think that's the case. I could be totally wrong. I could have made that up, but we'll find out next week. There you go.
They didn't do a double.
Nice cliffhanger to end the show. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will talk to you next week.